Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Kronk's New Groove. This is the sequel to The Emperor's New Groove, obviously. This is from 2005. It's an hour and 19 minutes long, and of course it stars pretty much everybody from the original cast. We have Patrick Warburton as Kronk, the henchman to the evil Yzma, played by Eartha Kitt, who does make an appearance. Yes, she was defeated in the last one, turned into a cat. Spoilers, but she's better now. And we also have David Spade, who makes appearances every so often as Cusco. He basically appears every 30 minutes or so, or every 20 minutes or so, just to give his commentary on what's happening. It's very much, they know they're in a movie, they know they're in a sequel. He makes it very clear that the last movie was all about him. This movie's all about Kronk. His is Kronk. It goes back and forth. So he drives that home. We got John Goodman and Wendy Malick also as Pacha, and I gotta say the names right, Pacha and Chicha. So yeah, but we also get John Mahoney from Frasier, the dad from Frasier, as playing Kronk's dad. And that is the whole focus of this film. Kronk, who had a certain level of success as a henchman to Yzma during her nefarious schemes, well, he's turned a new leaf. He's total 180. He's got his own business. He cooks up food. He loves baking. He loves cooking. And everybody loves him. He has lots of friends. He just doesn't have everything that his dad considers to be the markings of a successful person. And he hasn't seen his dad in a long time, but his dad is on his way. When the movie starts, we get to see kind of the repercussions of that meeting at the very beginning. And he's like, oh, I should probably tell you what led to me being covered in cheese everywhere. And so we proceed the entire film to be a flashback. But in that flashback, there are additional flashbacks that go to things that had happened previously. So we're double flashbacking, maybe even triple, but not, yeah, anyway. Kronk has a lot of story to tell as to why he's a failure and why he wants just his dad's approval for, to know that he's a success. And I think some people can really appreciate that or connect with that. I imagine the writers who wrote this might have some experience in that. Who knows? You tend to write what you know, as they say in Hollywood. But yeah, it's a big, goofy, fun, manic adventure. It's actually 3 stories in one. It's broken out. It's kind of a... there's the overarching story, but then it's broken down into 3 smaller bits. The last one, which sort of comprises the full, it brings everything full circle. But we get to see, in the first story, one of the things that marks him as a success would be to have a house on a hill. The thing. So he does everything he can to make that happen. When that opportunity is given to him, well, guess who gives it to him? Yzma. And she's back. Like I said, Eartha Kitt performs as her again and even does a song. So, yay. You get Eartha, just classic goddess, Catwoman Eartha Kitt. And of many other things culturally, but I remember her as Catwoman. I wasn't alive in the 60s, but yeah, she was Catwoman for a while, along with many others. But yeah, see, look that woman up. She's trouble, but she's also in Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. So yeah, and she'd be proud of that title, I think. So yeah, so we get a segment with Yzma as the big bad. And I'm not going to tell you what happens in that. If you haven't seen it, you can experience it on your own. The second one, we get Tracy Ullman as a rival of sorts to Kronk, but turns into so much more. And we see how that plays out in this. And probably one of the biggest sequences, voiced by, did I say she was voiced by Tracy Ullman? Yeah, Tracy Ullman. She had Tracy Ullman show, and she's a mistress of many voices and faces and everything else. She she had the show that started The Simpsons. So hey, back in the 80s, a million years ago. She plays a very important character in Kronk's life. Ms. Birdwell is her name. They both have scout troops. One's chipmunks and one's squirrels. And yes, Kronk's ability to talk to squirrels is continued into this film and plays a little bit of a part in this. And by the way, if you don't know who Patrick Warburton is, the guy who does voices Kronk, he's also Brock in Venture Brothers. He's played the Tick in a live-action version of that cartoon. He was Putty on the Simpsons on Seinfeld. He's been all over, and you see him all throughout Disneyland. In many cases, you see him on Soarin'. He's the guy who introduces you to the ride, and his voice can be heard all over the place, including Star Tours. He's the one droid scanning everybody towards the top of the queue. So yeah, he's a long time Disney personality. So yeah, makes sense he gets his own film finally. It's not that great, have to be said, compared to Emperor's New Groove. Yeah, the animation's not as motion picture quality. It's direct-to-video quality. But it's not bad. I've seen some major drop-off in some of the other films where you're like, here you have the high-quality Lion King, and then you have the Lion King 2 down here. Or that's just one example. There's many others. And this one, I really have, again, I haven't seen Emperor's New Groove in a long time, if fully at all. I swear I have. I'm sure I have. But maybe, yeah, I don't think I've seen it since it came out, if that's the case. We'll find out when it comes to the point where it gets selected, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, it's a fun enough story. It gives a nice little background on Kronk. It's full of music that probably was the biggest expense in this entire thing. There's a couple disco tunes and some, I think an original song from Eartha Kitt, and yeah, it's the music's fun. Makes it. There's a big dance sequence in the middle to a disco classic that has tons and tons of pop culture references. One of my favorite references that was not in the dance routine, but in the first storyline. There is a Lord of the Rings reference with Gollum. It's a pretty good Gollum. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pick that out. But yeah, this can't compare to the original. But that's what you get usually in these direct video money grabs. I don't know. It was this early 2000s era where they did so many. Bambi 2. Did you need Beauty and the Beast 2? Did you need a bunch of Little Mermaid sequels? No, probably not. And it didn't matter because the kids don't care. The kids don't care about the kids aren't sitting there going, oh, well, the quality's really dropped in the animation. And sound editing is just not exactly what it could be. They don't care. They're like, hey, that redheaded mermaid's back. Or, that Beauty and he's a beast again for some reason, or more Lion Kings, So we get to see, all sorts of fun stuff. But in this case, it makes sense. There's not a real stretch, and the good thing is they got back the important cast members. Even though they didn't necessarily need John Goodman and Wendy Malick to come back for this, and they don't have a really big part in this story until toward the end of the movie, where everything turns into a sitcom farce. It is... Both of them are sitcom veterans. This whole thing turns into a humongous sitcom farce in the final act, and when Kronk comes face to face with his father finally, and a lesson is learned, and everything turns out all right because it's a Disney film. But by the way, there's no mother, so it's another Disney, probably dead parent. So sorry to say, but yeah, it's an all right film. It's just not great. It's great to see these characters, hear these voices, but yeah, if I was going to say, oh, you gotta see this, no, that's not a thing I'd say. But if you love Emperor's New Groove, well, it's time you watch this. So, gotta watch them all, Pokemon style. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
283.
Man, yeah, we are sticking around the same areas. Don't even have to go 10. Well, We have, like I said, we have spent a lot of time in this area. We just had the Freemaker adventures earlier, so we know that we're in the L's, and this means more Lego Star Wars. So it was 283, right? I gotta make, no, my brain's already short-circuiting. 283. There's a bunch of these, by the way, and they're considered shorts, but they're about 20 so minutes. But this one is, I'm gonna get this as close as I can so you can see which one it is. Lego Star Wars, the Yoda Chronicles, Duel of the Skywalkers. Yes, this is not canon. So, it's Duel of the Skywalkers. You'll have to take my word for it. That's the one we're watching. Lego Star Wars, the Yoda Chronicles, Duel of the Skywalkers, next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.